After watching the trailers, I honestly expected Kong Skull Island to be terrible. It has a lot of the positives and negatives that the recent Godzilla film had, but the negatives were nowhere near as bad. They clearly took note from Godzilla and fixed some of the problems. They didn't fix them in the best way, but they did fix them. A common complaint about Godzilla was that there wasn't enough Godzilla in it, which isn't exactly correct. The problem was that the characters were so bad and sucked up so much screen time, people wanted more of the exciting monster stuff because that's the only enjoyable part. So with Kong they had two choices, either write compelling characters or show the monsters a lot more. And they chose to go with showing a lot more of the monsters. It was almost refreshing how much joy they had putting so many monsters on screen. They clearly loved them and didn't feel it necessary to hide them away, and let's face it, we all go to see the monsters anyway. Nearly all of the characters' backstories in Kong are they have a family, and that's about all you get. Godzilla only really had one character, which was the generic soldier man. The army general and scientists aren't characters, they're information dispensers. The soldier's wife and child aren't characters, they're objectives. You could replace them with a huge pile of money, a holiday cruise, or a pot of me Lucky Charms for all it mattered. If you didn't like the generic soldier guy, you were stuck. There's plenty more characters in Kong, so if you don't like one, you can always root for another. They aren't developed very much, but they do have a little bit going on, and the actors have much more charm to them than the generic soldier man. From the trailer, I expected John C. Reilly's character to be really annoying, but surprisingly I found him to be my favourite character in the whole movie. He does come across a bit weird and quirky, but it's all explained and works well within the context of the film. I think it was a really bad decision how they made him look in the trailer. The trailer gives off a very serious tone and he seems really out of place, and they've edited a couple of his lines together and it sounds terrible.
This is a good group of boys. We're all gonna die together out here. You shouldn't have come here.
I did think the film was a little clunky at the start, as it tried to find its footing. Maybe that was more to do with my expectations of getting a deadly serious monster film, but it's actually more of a swashbuckling adventure on Skull Island. Sure, there's a seriousness to it and people die, but overall it's a fun adventure type monster film, kind of similar in tone to the Indiana Jones movies, all three of them. No, there's not four, fuck off! Rather than retreading the same old story with King Kong, they decided to go for a different approach and set almost the entire film on Skull Island.
An uncharted island.
And one of the things I liked most about the film was the island itself. It has all these little creatures that made the location feel alive. There's insects flying around everywhere. I do wish they pushed it a little bit more though, just by adding a few more weird sounds of something off in the distance, or a little shadow of a creature in the background that you never really see. Kong feels like he has a strong presence on the island. You see him walking around, having a drink, or just relaxing in the sun. He's constantly there. I also liked how they changed Kong's anatomy. He wasn't just a very large ape. The way he stands and moves doesn't just mimic a gorilla. It's also set towards the end of the Vietnam War, which I think added an interesting element. They had great visuals with a good use of colours. For example, rather than just showing an exploding bomb, they take it up a level by showing it in the reflection of a character's glasses. There were some great silhouette shots too, and the editing pace is done in a way where they don't cut very often, so you get a good look of everything that's going on during the action sequences. It is missing a lot of the elements that make King Kong the sympathetic and tragic character he was in the previous films. They don't show much of his personality, but this film isn't really going for that. It's just an entertaining monster movie. If you're looking for something deeper or groundbreaking like the original King Kong, you may be disappointed. It was much better than the recent Godzilla film. If you like big monster movies, this is certainly something you should see. It was well shot with good pacing. I never found it boring. It's a giant monster movie, so it's not really a hard sell for me. I'd say it sits somewhere between Pacific Rim and Godzilla.
Hold on to your butts.